This is the dawn of a new era in British karting. Over 550 drivers in 12 classes competing for victory over 18 race weekends. This is the Motorsport UK British Kart Championships.
Chris Whitton takes the flag.
Going to be enough for
TKM's next champion.
to win again in TKM Extreme.
Clarkson Motorsport's young charger in the form of Louis Harvey is looking to push on in the junior TKM category from last year. And even though the competition in the Motorsport UK British Kart Championships is tough, he feels that he can showcase his true talents when they head to Shenington this weekend.
The wet weather helped us a bit, as we're quite confident in the wet, and in all four practices we were quickest. We had a bit of a mistake in quali, which qualified as 5th, and then in the heat we managed 3rd but lacked a bit of power. I like the track as there's lots of straights, but there's also twisty parts of the track, and we've been here for many years, so I like the track a lot. We've been karting for about 7 years. We started in Hondas, and then we've progressed from there into junior TKM a few years ago, and we've obviously the new Motorsport UK series is new, and we've come on quite strong.
Dominic Roberts, Spencer Lane, Josh Raystrick, Morgan Kidd, Harvey Roth, Ben Higgins, Finley Saunders, Jack Nicholson, Jacob Hodgkiss, Harry Wainwright, Theo Tibbets, Matt Marsh, Ben Cox, Harvey Cole, Oliver Stewart, Tom Johnson, Will Howells looks like he might not be competing in this, Dominic Kilmister, as we go green, lights out and off we go. Looks like Oates is going to get the initial advantage going through Cafe Corner. Yardley Rose really holding everybody up a little bit. Webb nearly going 2 wheels on the grass, going through into Pitts Bend. Has everyone made it through nice and safely? At the moment, Oates has got the advantage. Yardley Rose going down the straight behind him, about 2 kart lengths, or there or thereabouts in 2nd position. 3rd place, it's Charlie Webb. And it looks like there's been a multi-kart incident, probably looks to be 3 or 4 karts. Yellow flags waving at Paddock Bend. But the lead is still being hotly contested, and it is between Zach Oates, Harry Yardley Rose, and also Charlie Webb. James Barty up from 6th to 4th, ahead of Jensen Davis and Scott Smith. Jack Saunders, Oliver Richardson, and the likes of Harvey Roth, Ben Higgins. There has been quite a dramatic change in the fact that several drivers may not be taking any further participation in this race because there are still yellow flags whilst the clean-up operation is underway. So it looks like we've dropped down in terms of how many drivers will be continuing this race, as it looks to be 27 will still continue to compete, as we've got 13 minutes, 30 seconds plus an additional lap of this race to go. And at the moment, Oates will actually have a new title rival. Well, he's been threatening ever since Rissington, and that is Harry Yardley Rose from TWM in the number 19. The pair battled on what was a dynamic encounter for the win, with Zach Oates nipping Yardley Rose through the Bruno chicane on the final lap, and Yardley Rose, I think, has lost out to Charlie Webb. That is the case. Webb got up the inside of the number 19 from TWM through Paddock, and got the run through, as there is a very there's one kart coming through, and that is the number 56. This is pulled into the pits, and that is Josh Raystrick, who was running 21st. But at the moment, Charlie Webb is definitely on the move and is clearly fighting with his Precision Racing teammates. But there is one golden rule: you do not take out your teammate. Charlie Webb has got to win this fair and square off of Zach Oates, and in many respects Charlie Webb, if he does this, he's not factoring into the top 10, but he'll get a little bit closer towards it. Harry Yardley Rose sitting in 3rd place. Scott Smith looks to be past James Barty for 4th position, ahead of Jack Saunders. Jensen Davis and Harvey Roth, Ben Higgins, Oliver Richardson, they complete the top 10. So So we're down to 26 competitors. So Josh Raystrick has officially retired from the race. But at the front, it is still a 3-kart brawl. It is still Zach Oates, Charlie Webb and Harry Yardy-Rose. And then behind them, now where is Louis Harvey? He's all the way down in 21st. That's going to put him into 3rd position. So he was 40 points adrift. His gap now between him and Oates will be around about 63 points if it finishes. But Louis Harvey did a great drive earlier on in the first final and got into the top 4, obviously with penalties notwithstanding. May have been penalised post-race, which meant he started at the bottom part of the top 10. That may have been where the issues happened. But the lead has changed. Charlie Webb now takes the lead from Zach Oates. And Oates with that very, very heavily teethed, Venom-esque style race helmet, which anyone can spot a mile off, especially when he's coming into my line of sight, is definitely looking, I think, probably to try and get back past. Oh, that was very, very close there. Joe Harrison in 17th, went nearly all 4 wheels off, heading into Pitts Bend there, battling away. So Charlie Webb continues to lead, but managed to get past his teammate Zach Oates, the English champion, fairly and squarely there. So it's still stalemate at the front. Webb leads. Oates, Yardy-Rose, Smith, Barty, Saunders, Davis, Richardson, Harvey Roth now up from 16th place into 9th, ahead of Ben Higgins. Finley Saunders and Jack Nicholson have also improved by 7 positions respectively. They round out the top 12 in 11th and 12th place, as Charlie Webb still leads. Saunders now past Barty for 5th. Roth up into 8th past Oliver Richardson. So that's a great work from Harvey Roth, who was also in contention for some good points at Rissington a few months ago. But Louis Harvey, the guy that we spoke to earlier, he's trying to claw back some places. He's down in 20th. This is hurting his championship hopes. But there are still 4 more races, 2 more race weekends after this, to help him get back into where he wants to be and to be on that top step of the championship podium at the end of the season. There's still 9 minutes and 17 seconds plus an additional lap, but it just depends on how much damage limitation Louis Harvey can muster up in the next 9 minutes or so. He's made up another position. He's got past Joe Harrison for 19th position, and he's done that to somebody else. Litchfield Motorsports, Zach Taylor. Harvey was absolutely clinical through the Bruno chicane there. But Charlie Webb definitely not giving up, not wanting to relinquish that lead, as Yardy-Rose really closing on the back bumper of Oates. What's Oates going to do here through Stratford? He can't get through quite yet. Can he do something spectacular like he did in the first final? And I tell you what, Oliver Stewart's just come through my line of sight, 17th position. So Stewart up from 26th to 17th. The Scot is on the move. He needs to get a bit further forward. He's got 8 minutes 20 seconds plus an additional lap to do so. But Webb still holding the fort, still keeping first position. And now they've broken away ever so slightly by about a car length. But I tell you what, Yardy-Rose looking very, very impressive under brakes. He's got the measure of the 2 in front, because he can see where they're braking and late brake accordingly, as there's a swarm of karts with Dominic Kilmeister just behind in 14th, and that's got Harvey Roth, Harvey Cole, Morgan Kidd and Jack Nicholson just up ahead. So that's an absolutely brilliant strap for 10th position. Ben Higgins in the meantime still in 8th place. Cian Bennett in the meantime started 32nd, and obviously with the amount of casualties we've had so far, Josh Raystrick, Spencer Lane, Jacob Hodgkiss, Theo Tibbets, Will Howells, Daniel Gazal and Lewis Mackey. Some drivers I don't think even took the start, as the leaders really keeping themselves very, very neat and tidy. They're trying to make sure that they don't make the main move first. They're waiting for somebody else to blink. So Kilmister from TWM, teammate to Harry Yardy-Rose, who is still keeping in touch. with Zach Oates in second, the English champion, Charlie Webb in first. And it's only less than 0.3 of a second between the top three at the moment. So Webb is really being closed on. Oates is not allowing his teammate to breathe, and Yardy Rose is trying to put one up on Zach Oates. So Oates could really factor in. And I tell you what, Louis Harvey has been moving up the order. He's now up into 17th. This means he goes 1 point ahead in the virtual championship standings. And what's more, that's on Harry Yardy Rose. And what's more, that puts him in second in the overall standings. Oliver Stewart, though, don't count this young Scot out. He's up to 18th from 26th. So what will happen is that this will be a clear-cut battle for second position. But at the end of the day, every driver wants to battle for the title, and Oates is doing what he needs to do. He doesn't need to make an unforced error or a mistake that could cost him a handful of points. Because even if he does that, as Louis Harvey jumps up into 16th, that's another point. He's now gone 2 points ahead of Yardy Rose in the standings. So Louis Harvey started this race in second in the championship. Yardy Rose has overtaken Stewart, and Stewart was third. Stewart now 5 points in the virtual championship standings, but he is not done yet, because I tell you what, Louis Harvey is going to be in a battle with Oliver Stewart. This could be really interesting, because this will be a case of seeing what happens for second and third in the championship come the end of this race. And they are line astern. Harvey and Stewart are with each other right now. They are going down towards Stratford. Stewart right on the back bumper of the Clarkson Motorsport driver in the number 7. But Harvey definitely on the defensive there. Stewart can't get past yet. Might have a bit more of a run going through towards Hanger Corner and then Wilkins. But the leaders still are not being separated. This is brilliant. 4 minutes and 14 plus an additional lap. Then behind them, James Barty, Scott Smith. And Barty, I think, has been overtaken by Scott Smith. So Smith looks to have jumped up into 4th place. Jack Saunders, that's a great scrap as Louis Harvey and Oliver Stewart, they are battling over what is effectively 16th position. But this could be very much a key. I mean, the thing is, it's not going to do enough. It might help Stewart close the gap to Yardy Rose, but not to overtake Harvey in terms of the championship standings. But at the moment, Scott Smith rounds out the top 5 in the virtual championship standings. All results that are posted, well, that are called post-race, are subject to provisional classification and then ratification officially through sporting and scrutineering checks. The top 3 through into Stratford. I think, you know what, Zach Oates is really not taking any chances. He is doing a very measured and very calculated drive here. And I've just seen the number 9 of Ben Watson. Well, Ben might have been one of those that got caught up a bit earlier. The top part of the Nassau plate looks a bit askew there. So that's not going to help him, unfortunately. That's going to drop him to 10th in the standings. But the leaders, it is still mesmerising. It is still the fact that they are matching each other. But the fastest out of the top 3 is Harry Yardy Rose by literally 0.02 of a second. Not even half a tenth, not even a tenth. It's fractions smaller than that. So Webb leads, Oates in second, Yardy Rose in third, Scott Smith, James Barty, Jack Saunders, Ben Higgins, Jensen Davis, Harvey Cole and Oliver Richardson round out the top 10 as we go into the last 2 minutes and 15 plus an additional lap. Morgan Kidd, Dominic Kilmister, Harvey Roth, Jack Nicholson, Finley Saunders. Oliver Stewart has got past Louis Harvey, so Stewart gets 1 point closer to Yardy Rose. Then Zach Taylor, Harry Wainwright, Dominic Roberts, as Finley Saunders has got past Jack Nicholson for 14th position. Joe Harrison, Kean Bennett, Ben Cox, Matt Marsh, Tom Johnson and Ben Watson, rounding out those that are still circulating out on the circuit. There's been a couple of warning flags as well. Number 36 received one a bit earlier on, and that was Harvey Roth. Number 77, that was Dominic Kilmister, got one handed to him after 11 minutes after the start. We're into the last 90 seconds. Webb, Oates and Yardley Rose still locked in the stalemate. No, that's not the case anymore. What happened to Charlie Webb? So Charlie Webb has dropped behind both Harry Yardley Rose, who takes the lead by nearly 2/10 ahead of Zach Oates. So that was very, very decisive there from Yardley Rose. But I have to say, could lightning strike twice? Because if the way that Zach Oates is manoeuvring that E-plate kart right now from Precision Racing, he is now gearing up. The assault is now. We've got yellows at Wilkins. Yellows at Wilkins. This is not going to allow anybody to overtake. So yellow flags at Wilkins on both the entry and the exit, and probably even into Hanger Corner. Oh no, Oliver Stewart's been involved again, as I tell you what, Zach Oates really, but this has allowed Louis Harvey to stay in what is now 15th. But Yardley Rose is going to come under fierce scrutiny and pressure from Zach Oates. Could it happen again? Could Oates do the business through the Bruno chicane? The timer's going to count down right now as they go down the Hanger straight for the penultimate time of asking. So Oliver Stewart looks like that's it for him, for his weekend. It's gone really, really badly for the Scot. Last lap it is, so who's going to come out on top? Will Yardley Rose take a victory, or will Zach Oates do the double here at Shenington? We're about to find out. They go through Pitts Bend for the final time, scream their way down towards Stratford. So Oates is measuring. He's gone to the outside line to carry the momentum through Stratford. Here we go. Is it on? Could Zach Oates do it again through the Bruno chicane? Not quite. Yardley Rose hangs on. He was wise to that move from last time, but Oates really trying to force the issue. He tried to go towards the inside line of the Hanger straight into Hanger Corner. I don't think it's going to be enough because they're about to exit Wilkins. I think he might have done it. Yardley Rose, I think, has got it at the flag. The checkered flag has waved. It's Yardley Rose. Yardley Rose takes it ahead of Zach Oates after another great battle. Wow, Yardley Rose. He put the boot on the other foot for Zach Oates right there, and the gap was pretty much the same as what we had in final number one. But what a disaster for Oliver Stewart. That's a real shame for the Scot. He crosses the timing beam on lap number 20, as everyone else completed 21 laps. But Yardley Rose wins ahead of Zach Oates, who extends his championship lead to 51 points, leaving Shenington before any provisional results have been taken into account. Charlie Webb third ahead of Scott Smith, James Barty, Jack Saunders, Harvey Cole, Jensen Davis, Morgan Kidd. Dominic Kilmister rounds out the top 10 ahead of Harvey Roth, Jack Nicholson. Louis Harvey still is level on points with Yardley Rose, but finishes in 13th ahead of Zach Taylor, Dominic Roberts, Joe Harrison, Harry Wainwright, Kean Bennett, Matt Marsh, Ben Cox, Tom Johnson, Ben Watson and Oliver Stewart being the last of the 23 classified finishers, with Ben Higgins, Oliver Richardson, Finley Saunders, Josh Raystrick, Spencer Lane, Jacob Hodgkiss, Theo Tibbets, Will Howells, Daniel Gazal and Lewis Mackey, some of which who didn't even take the start. But breaking news, Zach Oates extends to a 52-point advantage ahead of the next round of the Junior TKM season. So with a victory apiece between Precision Racing's Zach Oates and TWM's Harry Yardley Rose, the former now has a 52-point advantage as Junior TKM heads to Kimbolton for their penultimate race weekend of the season. And there's a little bit more work for both Louis Harvey from Clarkson Motorsport and Jade Racing Team's Oliver Stewart, amongst others, that need to bring themselves back into the championship hunt in Cambridgeshire.
We were progressive through the weekend, just getting better and better all weekend, and got third in 2 finals. Yeah, it feels really good, like battling against 16-year-olds, and just want to get a podium, really.
Yeah, we've had a very good season, just consistently bringing home the results, had good wins, 3 seconds, and it's all about championship points, really. This weekend, again, we've equalled the points to Harry, which means no one's gained any points on me, which has obviously got me to 50 points in the championship leads. Obviously, yes, Louis Harvey and Oliver Stewart had a bad round, but they'll be there for the later season. Just got to keep it consistent. But can I just say a massive thank you to everyone at Precision Racing, my family and Adam.
I knew where my weak point was, and I could try and attack and defend where I needed to and pick the right points against the lead. It's going to be tight. I think at the end of the season it's going to be much tighter depending on how the season progresses. Well, it could be close, it could not be close, depends on how Zach makes his championship to be out like.